Welcome to what's really going on in America. Um, segment. I am now you now. Most of you are used to me being at 4:30, but due to not getting a link and a few issues with the network, I decided to do my own independent podcast. Um, I know I said five, but I decided to do it this way. Okay. Basically I want to talk basically most of you most of you on Facebook know what I've been saying about the color lives matter and why we need to get away from it. Um let me ooh. Now, let me just do a couple things here. I'm sorry, I should have been more prepared. Hmm. mm. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this without the pictures. I should have been more ready. My fault. This is my very. This is like one of those things I wasn't prepared for. So, anyway, let's dive into it. So, many of you know about Black Lives Matter. And And unfortunately, you know, anyone who's seen Candace Owens, The Greatest Lie Ever Sold, knows it's a fraudulent organization. They claim to be about Black lives, but it's only when 15 cops a year shoots a black person. But not when it's black on black crime, which is high rates in Chicago. And I will be and it's my hope that I get some guests from there be be a guest on the show. I will also um and and most of the money went towards two things: the founders and co-founders lifestyles, which I like to call the black lifestyle of the rich and unfamous, and transgender movement. But none of it went towards um George Floyd, or his roommates that needed help. But I thought Black Lives Matter. But then, and that's how the leftist started the color division. Now, let's talk about the right wingers. This is where most of you are going to hate me. Blue Lives Matter. Okay, so for a moment, I cheered for it, but then I thought to myself, why does everyone's life matter? And when I said all lives matter, I was either called a racist, which I would not understand why, or I would be called, or someone, a liberal or a leftist would say, "Oh, so all lives matter. So you don't eat meat, beef, um, chicken. I love beef, chicken, lamb. So, and you know what? I did something that most other right wingers less than likely would ever do. I said, "You got me," because when you're saying all lives matter, you're saying not just human life, you're not just saying humanity, but you're going to the animals' lives. And it's so then I thought then it took me a little bit longer. Then Candace Owens, Kanye West further the color division with white lives matter. And I thought to myself, and don't get me wrong, I did cheer for about a minute before I called myself stupid for even supporting it. And it's not because it's about black skin or brown skin, but it's because I got fed up with the color division. So what did I do? I created these Human Lives Matter. And take a look at the back. I got over 300 of these shirts, from small to extra large. And let me tell you, I had many brown and black skinned people buy them because they know my heart. I had liberals and people in the middle buy them. I had a few conservatives that sees my activism through it. Now, if these were Black Lives Matter t-shirts, they would be I would have $1,000,000 because it's Black Lives. I would and a portion of sales would go towards them just for using the name somehow, I'm sure. But that's not what I'm about. I'm about humanity. So here's the thing. We need to go and the major reason why I got fed up and made these shirts isn't just because I want to include everyone's skin color, but it's because I wanted something different. Something that's outside. I wanted something that's outside the typical stuff. I want my the ultimate goal is to end color division. And it seems like to me that people rather fight just to fight. And in my experiences, it never goes well. And that goes on both sides. And we gotta do better as the human race. Now, if I was to tell you that a leftist even bought, even an anti-Trump supporter, someone who hates Trump, bought one of these shirts, you would, I would like to see your reaction. Guess what? I had anti-Trump supporters buy the shirts. You know, and it seems to me that I can find more middle ground and talk to the leftist about things like this. We won't agree on things like abortions, about Christianity, and among other things. But through something like this, when they talk to me, they see something different. Because I'm not trying to win them over. I'm just trying to share who I am in my heart. And I want, people, and we got, so I would, so yeah, I'm sorry. I should have had some water before I started this, but hey, it is what it is. But anyway, when are we gonna start making human lives matter? Now, to the leftists and the liberals who are for abortions, I would say this: human lives matter starting in the womb. You say you're against the death penalty for criminals, but you will, however, want a woman to have the right to give the death to cause the death penalty of someone who committed no crime. To me, every life is valuable. Every human life is valuable. We are above the animals because we can do things animals can't. Animals fight to survive. And the minute that we fight to survive without reasoning, without doing what's right, we become the animals. We become the animals. But the minute that but the minute we reason, no, we can do and like we, like another thing we can do with that animals can't is do the right thing no matter how hard, how difficult it is. Now, the only thing that gets in our way is sin nature. And for the people for people who go to church, I would suggest that you follow my church page because I would be addressing people at the church directly. Atheists are welcomed, but just know if you're an atheist or agnostic, I am in I cannot hold you accountable to biblical teachings, but you're more than welcome to join my church auditor page or live chats for if but just know that everything I say on there is not for you, not at all. So, but yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So the Black Lives Matter, blue light is a left. The Black Lives Matters is how the leftists, the liberals, create color division. But the right wingers who say they want to do better or know better by causing further division with Blue Lives Matter and White Lives Matter. In all three instances, each individual is human, and it's our humanity that defines us, not my skin color. I didn't, you know, I never beat up on a black person. I never enslaved them. I never mistreated any of them. I treated every single one as a human being. Every single one. I encouraged them to do what's right. I try to uplift them when they're down. I congratulate them when they do well because that's humanity. So, when are we gonna so to the right wingers, I expected you, most of all, who say you want to do better by supporting my cause by getting the Human Lives Matter t-shirts. I expected that from the right wingers with millions of people in this country. Not only do I did I expect it to be shared, but I expected sales big time, you know. But all I got was prayers and good luck. Now to some of the conservatives that did buy them, I thank you. I made a friend in the Constitution Party. Great guy. I especially thank him for the big sell that and I hope that message spreads to where I do get many more sales. I you know, yes, what's really going on in America is an LLC. It is an actual business. I can sell things. I have permission from my government. I registered the business with my government. Oh, because I need permission from my overlords to do a business. Mm, gee, sounds not so free in a supposedly free country. Hmm, go figure that one out. But here, here we are. So yeah, I will say this: I do respect Candace Owens and Kanye West for what they tried to do. And I know a little bit more about Candace Owens than I do about Kanye. So, and because of that, I will say that Candace is actually a lot better. I agree with her on a lot of the political issues. And she did put a lot of research into the documentary, The Greatest Lie Ever Sold. But just like anyone else, and this is me included, I'm not perfect, and neither is anyone else. So it's not like I know the people who are trying to fight for this country, and then I just know the ones who don't give a rat's behind. And and I know people who will fight just because they want to fight. But unfortunately, people just don't want to. But unfortunately, there's very few who fight because it's the right because it's right. And but people just fight because they want to. They want to have everything their way. In fact, let's talk about another thing that I've noticed in the conservative movement. We want to fight for our rights. Okay, rightfully so. We're being censored to death. We're being, you know, among other things. However, the minute that you try to take away the right of someone else to speak openly and cordially, you become hypocrites. You know, it's now I'm not saying that we should use our free speech to sexualize kids. When I was a young kid, you know, the last thing I wanted was to be around sexual things. I just wanted to play my video games, do my home, you know, go to school, play my video games, live my life, and not be exposed to sexual crap. If it was straight or homosexual, you know. But when you're 18 and older, do whatever you want. You know, when I was 18 and older, I just wanted that freedom to do whatever I wanted, live however I wanted, do all the things I couldn't do as a child. But you know what I needed as a child? I needed a structured home with a good mother and a good father in it to teach me right and wrong, and not just teach it to me, but explain why it is. You know, but I didn't have that. I just had lazy so-called I had all kinds of guardians. If it was foster care, if it was my adopted slaveholders, if it was overlords and placements, I had no stable home. And I never had anywhere stable to grow up in. I would, let's just say, William Allen High School in the 11th grade was my third school county that I was living in. Third. So I was in two other counties before that one, before I graduated 11th grade. And as a child, that can mess up a guy or a gal. People say, oh, but you're living a good life. Yeah, sure, we're living good lives. You know, a lot of people are getting married, but end up in divorce at a much higher rate than 30 years ago. Um, People would have good jobs while their kids are doing whatever they want. They without a. I mean, take a look at society today. It could be better. Just because my guardians had good lives doesn't mean I had a good life as a child. If it's abuse or just negligence. And so we're just, so yeah. Oh, but yeah, we're just, it's, so yeah, it's really gonna, so yeah, this is, what, so yeah, our society is the way it is because we allow too much to happen in our homes that shouldn't have, taking God out of it, out of the country more and more, or we twist God's word to make it sound like we can live however we want and look at the results. And taking out the fathers out of the homes, the most, and let me tell you, as a child, as remembering as a child, I could step all over any mother if they didn't have their man around. If they didn't have a good man around, I was feared. Totally feared. So if a guardian so if my guardians had a man and a good man and a woman, I was gonna be sneaky with my bad behavior because I never feared a woman. Always, but I would fear a good man. And so this is all the time I'm gonna take today. And I will see you next time.